attendance tonight. I'm sure it's nothing to do with the price of cryptocurrencies. Now, thanks a lot. My name is Max. I work for Atato. We have been organizing this blockchain meetup every month since October last year. We have been doing it online during the COVID, but it's really cool to have you guys here to restart those face-to-face meetup. This is the point of it. So it's ready to meet new people, exchanging about blockchain. And tonight, we have a great panel. But just to explain you quickly about what we do, we build blockchain software platforms for enterprises. We have been doing this since 2017. About of our dev team is here, and we work with financial institutions and other publicly listed companies. And the reason we did this meetup is really to actually bring more knowledge about blockchain. And it's really about open discussions. So please don't be shy, ask questions. You have a very, very great panel tonight. And yeah, please go on stage. I will introduce you, and then after that, I will let you talk. So we have Khun Pakron from Finema, and Khun Nat from Bitcoin Venture. Yeah, you can make it. And Khun Tascha from Alpha Finance. And we are very honored to have the Prime Minister of the Thai Digital Asset Association with us tonight. So yes, it's going to be a panel discussion. There will be some questions from Khun Bit to the panelists. You can feel free to ask any question. There will be a Q&A after, but just raise your hands and Khun Bit will give you the speech. So let's see, we have a couple of foreigners here. So maybe we're gonna do the meetup in English, if it's okay for you guys. Unless we have 300 Thai speakers on the front row, but that's it. Thank you very much again for coming tonight, and enjoy the discussion.
Thank you. I think before we jump to the topic, I would like all of you introduce yourself a little bit before we go to the topic. Start with the pretty woman.
So my name is Nat. For Nattariya, I'm a venture capitalist at Bangkok Venture Capital, a corporate venture arm of K-Bank. It's fully owned by K-Bank, and we make investments into companies that have strategic value to the bank, either in fintech, consumer technology, or enterprise software. And we're stage agnostic, so we invest across stages from seed to pre-IPO companies.
My name is AJ, CEO and founder of Finema. We are doing the decentralized identity in terms of enterprise solution to enterprise and government. We show a lot of projects to government about the digital identity. Use the mobile PKI public key infrastructure to authenticate, to sign a digital signature, provide to the government.
Hi everyone, Tascha from Alpha Finance, co-founder and project lead. So a bit about Alpha Finance. We went on Binance IEO in October. So it's been a pretty fast ride for us. We have one product out so far, live on Ethereum, which is Alpha Homora, currently having about $50 million of value locked. And then we have also 2 more products coming out next year. And we also raised some fundraising from the private investors before we went to Binance IEO, about 2.6 to $3 million. So that's a bit about Alpha Finance. But on a bigger picture, it's a cross-chain DeFi lab. So we're building a number of DeFi products on a number of chains. So starting from Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain, and then we're going to grow. Yeah, from there.
And also, I am Suppakrit Bunsat. I have a channel called Bit Investment. It's about the investment in the blockchain and crypto space. And I am also the president of the Thai Digital Asset Association. Today, I'm very excited to discuss with this topic about the blockchain and investment. So I would like to draw the first question for all of you. Start with Tascha. In view of the recent crypto price, do you think the company are going to invest more blockchain startup?
I think yes and no. So yes, because with the rising prices, of course, that brings in more attraction and demand, more eyeballs for sure. So that's actually good in the mass adoption of crypto space in general, right? But at the end of the day, it comes down to which asset still, because there are thousands of coins. Even in DeFi space, there are a lot of them that are already overvalued, or even undervalued, like Alpha. Just kidding. Yeah, so that's why you have to dig deeper into like really what they're doing, their mission, what their roadmap is, and pretty much who are behind the team. And I think the team is really, really important, because a lot of the time what we see is that a lot of the DeFi projects spend years building out a product, and at the end of the day, they actually don't have adoption from that product. So the number of years in the space may or may not matter, depending on who the team is, and what ingredients are there composing that. So that's why I say yes and no. But pretty good time to do more analysis and also jump in. I think it's still more way to go, especially for DeFi.
How about you, AJ?
Actually, I'm not quite familiar within crypto space, because we are doing the enterprise solution for government and enterprise and company. But I think we already passed the hype of the blockchain already, and after the hype, the graph is go down and try to rise up to be a mature state after this in 1 or 2 years. But I think it's the trend is still going up. Corporate venture capital or any VC or fund, they're looking for some enterprise solution in terms of decentralized, like decentralized identity as we do. The thing we do, we can call it self-sovereign identity. Blockchain is the part of it. It's not the whole blockchain, but just the part of just like the part of integrity of the data, and doing something about the zero signature, and something about distributed PKI. I think we are still in the high rise up graph to raise money. We already passed the seed stage last year, and next year we will going to raise the Series A, because we secure a lot of project in government and enterprise. Yeah. I think the market is still high up, rise up in a few years.
I love bull market.
Because the thing we do, like decentralized identity or SSI or anything that they call, there's just a few player in Southeast Asia, maybe only Finema or a few player in Singapore. Yeah, but in Asia Pacific, I don't think it's more than 10 company doing like this. But every company that trying to do this product, this is very early stage. Every product is not similar. Different business model, different price, different industry.
And I would like to share some idea that I heard Khun AJ mention about his project, and I think his project is quite good in terms of the long term, because it's like one major key ingredient for the new infrastructure. Clearly, we like it's like we talk about the new content. It's never happened before. And about the KYC or about how to identify the people, it's going to be changed. You never see this technology before, and the experience about the user will change. And it's infrastructure, one key ingredient of infrastructure for the new era.
Actually, our vision, our goal is to get rid of password, because everyone, for now, and for example, for me, I think I have more than 500 user account online. I think it's too much. And then you have to use like a one password, last pass to keep your password safe, and you have to give trust to that application instead of your mobile phone. I try to bring the control back to the user by using the mobile PKI.
Now your turn, Nat. In terms of the VC point of view, we need to invest more in the blockchain startup company.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. That's why we're at this meetup. But to be honest, I think blockchain is slowly finding adoption in the real world, right? And currently, so far, the use cases have been limited to speculation and a lot of trading. So I think in the future, as the infrastructure develops and we have more solution that can scale with the level of transaction that we need in the real world, then a lot more of the corporate will get into the space. And Thailand has been very active in terms of investing into blockchain companies. A lot of blue chip companies or banks are doing POCs and building products around blockchain. And this year, which is Bangkok Ayutthaya, has announced an opportunistic fund to invest in frontier technology, and K-Bank is in the process of topping up our fund to do more investment into deep tech companies as well. Not necessarily just blockchain, but also other types of deep tech companies like AI, ML, or biometrics, which these companies usually don't have solid use case yet because they provide an infrastructure for the technology. So we're targeting to make more investments in those kind of companies as well.
Again, because you involved with the traditional finance institution, so I would like to listen your idea about the viewpoint of bank. It seems to be changed in trend to be good than ever about the blockchain or about the cryptocurrency. It's a change since the beginning of the rising of the price of the Bitcoin last 20 years ago. How is the situation about the viewpoint?
Yeah, it definitely changed a lot, and people who've been in the industry might agree as well. Like before, we often talk about Silk Road, and now we see more actual transaction going on in the blockchain space. And there's a saying called Lindy effect, where if something stays for a long time, then people start to believe that it will stay forever. And I think that's happening in Bitcoin and definitely for blockchain space. For banks specifically, initially we couldn't get into crypto because of the regulation, but now you're seeing a lot more banks are coming into the market, with JP Morgan launching their digital currency arm. Even K-Bank has a blockchain lab. So and SCB is partnering with AlphaNet and Man Protocol. So a lot of corporates and banks are coming into the market, starting by investing and partnering, because we don't know where the market is going to go or if this technology will actually materialize. So I think the method of involvement for corporate will still be doing POC research through partnership with startups and making small investments. And I think that's going to be the picture that we're seeing over the next 2-3 years.
Do they know my channel needs a sponsor and partnership also?
We can talk about that after.
With investment, remember it. To jump to Khun Pakron and Khun Tascha about. I heard you just raised fund. I'm not sure about the. I would like you to explain about your journey about how to raise the fund.
Okay. Actually, we just published the news, but we already raised from last year, like this time, November and December. Before we can raise, it's quite very difficult to talk and approach to venture capital or any investor, because the thing we do is really very early stage and a lot of technical. We I first time I talked to investor is take about 6 months, 6 months to talk to every investor I know and I can connect, and finally we found one listed company, and they were interested in us, and want to invest in very deep technology to build up the new landscape, and they found us. We met and we talked about 2 months. Took about 2 months to talk about valuation, how to adopt to the market. Since last year, because when we raised that time, we just have only one customer. Khon University is the first customer of us, and then we try to show them how to adopt to the government service, to the government institute, and now after 1 year, we got a lot of project in government field, in like revenue department, custom, to do about mobile authentication, to log into Windows OS by using QR code to scan and log in, integrate with IBM single sign-on. We do the enterprise solution. Our main partner is IBM and Oracle. We approach their customer. They share their customer to us to add the value to that solution. That's how we approach the customer. Okay. And then for next step to raise the series, I think it's quite more easy to show because we have a lot of use case to show to them. The digital signature with the PKI mobile by scanning the QR code to sign the document. That our main solution for now. I think it will be more easier in series.
I feel before I die, I'm gonna see a modern government in Thailand. Sound good. Sound good.
Soon.
So move to Khun Tascha about your journey. How long does it take?
So it's pretty hard to compare the timeline in DeFi in general with the general world timeline, because everything in DeFi is like times 10 faster. So the whole journey for us actually took 2 months, and that's because when we started out internally, without even raising the funds and everything, we already have a vision and a mission that's super unique from the other DeFi or decentralized finance protocols out there. So that already gave us, quite a unique standing point to begin with. So that's a good, foundation and start. The second thing that really helps is also I came from Band Protocol, which is, a very reputable data oracle, playing and serving data to all these DeFi projects. And they have a lot of great connections in the space, including Binance. So I developed a lot of relationship with, a lot of partners, and including Binance as well. So when I left to Band Protocol to, start Alpha with the team, then I leveraged a lot of the networks and connections that I gained from there. So I talked to Binance and pretty much, tell them about what we're doing, what our mission is, how far we've come, and then, what you can expect to see in about 2 to 3 months. So they're excited. And Binance also invested in us. So they're the first one. And then once we got Binance in, which is a pretty big investor, they are the largest, crypto exchange in the world. Then we started to tap into other VC firms that focus on DeFi particularly. So right now we have the Spartan Group, Multicoin Capital, and also DeFiance Capital that invested. So this is, public, but we also have the other angel investors that are really well known in DeFi space that also invest in the round. For example, like Sam SBF from FTX also invested. So I think the whole journey was really fast, but the key thing that I took from it is that we got to fast track because we have a lot of the ingredients that were ready, and we were able to communicate that to the investors. So they were pretty excited about it. And then once we closed the fundraising round, just about 2 to 3 weeks after that, then we went on Binance IEO. So everything is very, very short term. Not short term, but very fast. Yeah.
I think it's in DeFi space is the cycle is too fast, and I think another ingredient is you guys show something like a brand protocol project, and you prove something in terms of tangible service or tangible product. You made it before. I would like you to share another point of view of the VC. What was the main decision that venture capital invest in you, and what is the obstacle that you found?
So we were actually oversubscribed. So we had to expand the round a little bit more, and we still cannot accommodate all the VC firms that want to invest. And the reason that we went with the VC firms now that we take their support from are pretty much from multiple angles. One is that they have to have a lot of network in the DeFi space, so they can bring a lot of help to us, right? Second is that we also look into their portfolio companies. So the Spartan Group, Multicoin Capital, DeFiance Capital, these are the ones that invested in Aave, Synthetics, Dodo. These are the top band protocol, right? These are the top projects. So that also helps in terms of it kind of correlates how much they can help and how successful the projects will become. The third thing is also we pretty much scatter our investors globally because we don't want to focus too much in a particular geography. So, for instance, Multicoin Capital is in the U.S. And Calvin from Compound is also an investor in us. So he's in the U.S. He brings a lot of network among the Compound and the original lending protocol, right? And then the Spartan Group and DeFiance would focus more in Asia. So we kind of cross between the East and the West, and investors can also help with that. In terms of obstacles, one thing that I think was quite difficult in the beginning is also to communicate our mission and vision and show them that we can do it, because what we set out to do is actually very different from other DeFi projects. So typically one DeFi project like Compound or Aave, right? They only do one thing. So Compound is born to do compound finance and lending product, or Synthetics is do synthetic assets, right? But for us, the goal is actually to iterate fast and understand the market gaps, and also spin out products to capture these market gaps, and at the end of the day have them interoperate and bring synergy to each other, because we think that DeFi space moves really fast, so you cannot just grow really fast from just having one product. So by setting this vision and mission that's super different from the other projects, you need a lot of way to convince the VC firms that you can do it, and I think that's the hardest part, but we were able to do it.
I just pop up something in my mind about how fast is this DeFi move. If you ever have an experience to invest in, it's called Uniswap. Yeah, Uniswap, and it has another project called SushiSwap. They copy the code from GitHub and fork the project from Uniswap, and they incentive someone that would like to move. It seems like they would like to siphon the liquidity from Uniswap to SushiSwap by incentive with their token. Just only 1 week, the value locked in the SushiSwap is $1 billion. I think I can't remember about the value, but it's easy to do some project and incentivize or make something that interests with the investor to move their fund to their project. Let's move to Khun Pakron about the obstacle. What is you think the main thing that we see investing in?
I think we have to select the venture capital that and will understand or understand the market we are in, like we doing in enterprise field, in government field, like enterprise IT, like the VC that understand about how Salesforce growing up, how SAP growing up, how VMware, how Okta is a digital identity management platform that's about 10 years, but very big for now. Like we have to find out who is the VC in my mind, in our mind, that understand the product and understand and can help us to adopt in outside Thailand, like Singapore, Hong Kong, South Korea, or Japan. We are looking for that VC in terms of enterprise field. Because if you talk to VC that or investment firm that understand only the consumer product, retail, they will not understand that what are you doing, because they don't even understand about enterprise IT industry. Yeah.
How about the obstacle?
I think the obstacle is communication. Yeah, you have to select first and communicate to them how to adopt. Because from this early stage, there are around the world. I think we only have about 30 players around the world, and actually we have a bigger one, the biggest one called Sovereign. Sovereigns 2 years ago, they try to rest in terms of ICO, jump into the crypto space like Uport or Civic. We're doing the same thing, improve the digital identity, but our product is very different. And now Uport, it's come to be a part of consensus already, and Civic, it's stuck in adoption. Sovereign, they cannot raise the money. The team is broken and split to set up a new startup about the self-sovereign identity. A lot of self-sovereign identity coming up this year, and SSI or self-sovereign identity will be it's very hyped this year, and it will be more hyped than this next year, because in blockchain space, the first use case is about finance, but the second use case we are looking for, it's about identity. That's about the obstacle, and that's about the opportunity to rest in the high trend, the upper trend. Yeah.
So I to sum up that the first thing that you need to understand the VC, and
Yes.
the obstacle is the communication. I just pop up something in my mind about the I read some article, and if I remember that it's called the index is called startup density. The startup density is come from the number of the startup divided by the population. I think I remember that it's around 100K population, and the Singapore, the startup density is around 69.1. Thailand is 1.0. Thailand is lag behind Vietnam. Vietnam is around 1.8. And I really proud both of you because you are in the 1.0. But I just think that if we would like to be to have a unicorn, we need to increase the startup density number. We just have the 1.0 is just a little bit. But compare with the Singapore. Your turn. Would you like to share the point of view of the VC if you would like to invest in the startup? You would like to share?
What kind of point of view? Like, what do I look for?
Yeah. I need you to like a qualifications to invest. How to criteria the filter, what startup, what is qualification? I don't know. I would like to know in terms of venture capital view.
Well, I think for traditional VC, it would typically, you can break it down into corporate venture capital and also normal like financial VC fund, right? So for corporate VC, it's usually the strategic part. Mostly the banks and corporates would look for companies that have that has clients in the market that those companies want to tap into, and they want to do some kind of partnerships with the startups in order to have a bit of PR, but also, can say that they're testing new products or trying to tap into a new client market. For a financial VC, I think the most important thing for them is just to return capital to their investor. So the ability to find a home run company would be the most important thing. So companies that can become unicorns or help the venture capital return capital to the investor. So that is divided, that can be broken down into different things, like, is the market size big enough? Is the team good enough to be able to figure out the market gap or pivot when it is necessary? Is the founder able to scale as the company grow and help groom the company and to become a unicorn company? So I think that's the most important part. For blockchain companies, a blockchain fund is the same thing. They're looking for companies that can return the fund, can actually create value over blockchain and find a way to capture that value either through tokens or eventually selling the company so that they can return the capital to the investor as well.
Compare in terms of Thailand and other countries. What do you think? Which country the best sexy country to invest in terms of the venture capital? Or in Thailand, is it sexy to invest? Or what is the big picture?
Well, globally, I think a lot of innovation and technology is still coming from the US and China. For Southeast Asia, the majority of activities is coming from Indonesia. The amount of capital that's going into startup each year, 60% goes to Indonesian startups, around 15 to 20% goes to Singapore and Vietnam. And Thailand is about 2%, which is really low. Yeah, but I'm glad to see a lot of new startups coming up over the past 1 year or 2 years, where we have students who go study abroad, coming back, like we call it sea turtle, like people who go get educated abroad and come back. And they're like doing their own startup now rather than going to the corporate route, which is a good thing. And I hope that over the next few years, we can have more Thai startups so I can have more deals as well.
Your stat is quite correlated with my stat, right? Startup density index, right? How about you, AJ? What do you think? Thailand and other countries.
As both of you told, that we have very low number of technology companies. For me, it's not about startup. It's just about technology provider. We don't have any technology provider that can export the product or solution outside Thailand. If you imagine which company in Thailand export the technology to Southeast Asia, to Asia Pacific or US or EU, we don't have, because I think Thai population is quite very middle. You can survive with this number of population. At least you can survive, but you will not growing up. That's a problem. What the first problem? The second is about people don't think global, don't think like global from the first day. They try. A lot of people try to grab Thai market, Thai people, but for me, as for an example, I don't even think about Thailand, but I have to settle here first, and then moving next to Singapore, moving next to South Korea, to Japan, and after that we will, for sure, Southeast Asia have to be from us for the technology. We try to do something like a operating system, not a platform, not as a service. We try to do the OS, because we think from we can see from Microsoft or SAP, if one company using SAP already, they will stuck in next 10 years for sure. They have to pay the subscription for MA. They have to pay for service or add-on service. Yeah, that's why, because my expertise is all in IT solution for 15 years. That's why I would like to do, I can call it stickiness product. When you subscribe to us, you cannot go away. We will not have a churn rate.
AJ, you unleashed the giant in my mind. Think big, and my channel will
Go global.
go. Yeah. I'm still waiting sponsor. So move to Natasha. What do you think?
Yeah, so I think there are multiple things. If you look from very big picture, right, like from the governmental level, I think it's because government hasn't provided that much support to startups. And let's say the startup index that you showed for Singapore, which is 69.1%. I'm pretty sure a number of them are probably Thai, right? But instead of setting up a startup in Thailand where there are no benefits at all, why don't you just start in Singapore where you actually get more benefits, maybe tax breaks or even more, access to global market. So I think that's definitely number one. And also by having Singapore base, you actually have an image of a global company day one. So that itself already brings more benefit than having a Thai-based company startup, right? So I think that's more of a governmental level and how we can actually drive it forward. On the second point, lower level more than that, if you look into bigger companies, I also think there haven't been much move from the bigger companies to make more investment, to actually show that there's demand to actually invest in these firms. Because if there's demand, then I'm sure there are going to be a lot of young people or people with expertise that want to go in and capture that demand. But I think there's just no supply from corporates to show these new people that they want to invest and innovate. So I think it's not only just from the talent itself, but I think it's all from the governments and also from the corporates.
I would like the Thailand leader to listen this session. I love your quote. I remember I read one book, and I can't remember which book. They says the leader create condition for growth. The leader not create the growth, create condition for growth. They should create the condition for startup, right? I love it. So if we focus on the blockchain startup, what do you think the Thailand is stronger community than or other countries stronger than us? What do you think?
In terms of blockchain startup, I think it's pretty hard. A number of reasons. One is that blockchain startup itself is very new. So I think not only just Thailand, but any country is facing the same, momentum of growing that phase, except the US or UK, where they've been expanded more into spinning out more blockchain startups. But I think the rest of the world face similar momentum of how do they even grow more of these. And I think that comes back to the point where blockchain is quite new, and also DeFi is a niche segment of blockchain. So that means that the people who will work and start something in this space would be even niche, more niche than the space itself. So I think it's just a matter of time of having DeFi grow, having blockchain grow, and now that the prices increase, that would also attract more people to kind of look into this area more, and then trying to see how they can enter. So this is a good momentum, but I think it's more of a timing thing.
I can confirm about the prices draw attention for people because the subscriber in my channel is increased significantly. How about you, AJ? Not limit to the blockchain, that any technology.
I think for my company, Finema, we have a lot of PhD in physics and science to do about the cryptography, to doing the research in the cryptography field. Like we will launch the new feature next year and in first quarter. The feature we call selective disclosure. If you have the data that issue from some organization to in your wallet in your mobile, when you want to verify yourself or verify this credential, you can select to disclose or non-disclose something to the verifier. This kind of feature we use very advanced mathematics. That's why we have to do a lot of researcher doing in terms of cryptography field, math field. If you going into our blog, the last block is about selective disclosure, BBS plus signature. Around the world, we have only 3 companies doing this feature. We are one of that. That's we're trying to do the very deep research in advanced technology. And another company of mine, it's doing about the quantum technology. We try to do the post-quantum cryptography to protect the cryptography in the future. Because when after you thinking about after you launch Finema around the world and then cryptographic break, your identity, everything that you did is broke because of quantum computer. I don't want to be like that. That's why I have to set up another company to doing about this. Every company of mine doing very deep technology because we have a network of PhD in physics, in quantum technology, in math, yeah, something like that.
Thank you, AJ. Hello. Thank you, AJ, to save the cryptography. You save Bitcoin also. Thank you to protect my fund. Move to Nat. How about you?
Sorry, you can have the question again.
To compare specific to the blockchain startup in Thailand compared to another country, in Thailand is stronger community than other country. What do you think?
I think can't really compare because I think blockchain is born to be global from day one, and the users is supposed to be decentralized, so everyone can contribute, and people can be anywhere in the world. I don't think that geographic boundary has put any barrier to blockchain community. And good projects has to be able to bootstrap users from around the world, and I think that's a hard part of growing communities for blockchain project. And maybe you can speak more to that as well. But yeah, I don't think that there's a difference between Thailand and others.
Hello. The last question. I would like you. Hello. I would like you to prediction. I would like you to predict the next 2 years. How about the future about the cryptocurrency or blockchain technology, blockchain community? Start with Tascha.
It's a hard name, I understand. Predict. Okay, that's hard. But okay, so let's start from overall market first. So I think we're entering bull market. I'm sure everyone knows that already, especially given Bitcoin reaching 19,000 and all the altcoins getting more momentum. Some don't even have their own products. So that's for the general market, right? In terms of blockchain wise, I think next year will be really interesting because a lot of the other chains, so let's say Polkadot, Cosmos, Binance Smart Chain, are going to really bootstrap their usages. Some will be launched on mainnet with full functionalities, where they spend a lot of time this year to build all those functionalities, so they're ready to launch all these functionalities next year. And then there are a number of layer 2 solutions coming up to help grow Ethereum. That's also going to be launched on next year. So I think that's going to be a really eventful year for blockchain space for sure. In terms of the applications on blockchain itself, I also think we will also see more beyond financial products, so beyond DeFi, like gaming products, or even more products that will relate more to daily life or like actual real world usages. And I think the actual real world usages, of course, will depend on the regulatory factor that would come in, but I'm sure that will all be always. It's also going to be something that we're going to see, I guess, next 2 years. At least more projects are coming out to start their trajectory to that point.
Move to AJ.
Okay. As I told you, I'm not familiar with the crypto space, but I think I will talk about the whole blockchain industry. I think it's very challenge for the blockchain startup or blockchain company because as you can see, a lot of company born and then a lot of company die. Everyone try to find a real use case in the real world, but for blockchain, the best benefit for blockchain is interoperable. For now, we are very stuck in the walled garden of blockchain, maybe 1.0. Like if somebody use Ethereum and if somebody use Bitcoin, they will not be able to interoperable for now. That's the huge problem. We are waiting for Ethereum 2.0. We are monitoring that and then share up to when will it gonna happen, because we have a lot of cross chain in the of every chain. It will have huge benefits to the world. This is quite challenging because everyone waiting for the next level. And for adoption, like I told you about the sovereign, the biggest company in self-sovereign identity now, the team is broken because they run out of money. For UPod, they come up to be one part of consensus already. A lot of people that trying to do the blockchain identity in crypto space already gone. Just left about who doing the enterprise solution.
Hello. Thank you. I captured that you say about the interoperability, right? And talk about the Ethereum, right? We sell Pakron. We have the meetup about Ethereum 2.0. The Genesis block in 1st of December. We will have a meetup. I'm not sure where, but I post in my wall, my page. If you would like to join us, visit to my page. I have the event. Join my.
Announcing.
Okay, now not limit to the blockchain project, but in terms of the VC in next 2 years, how it's gonna be?
I don't know.
It's future, right?
Yeah, it's hard. So yeah, I think more. Oh, I suppose I think traditional VCs will get more used to investing into blockchain companies, because right now we're seeing two separate types of funds. We see blockchain focused fund and traditional VC that can't really invest in tokens. But I think in the future, once blockchain use cases are being adopted by more people, and we see more real world use cases, we'll see traditional VC gets into the space as well. And I hope to see the more of an adoption for all the projects.
Do you want to invest in education media like this investment?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for informative and interesting talk. I think now we're going to move to Q&A session. And if somebody has a question.
Don't be shy. Yeah. But
Hi, Paul here from Band Protocol. So, question for Khun AJ. So I still remember in 2017 I was using Civic as a KYC solution for doing a lot of ICO. But either case, right? I know you mentioned now that a lot of company has died, and I know for the fact that crypto is probably one of the most open-minded, quickest to adopt to new technologies. Why are we seeing self-sovereign identity solutions failing in the crypto space?
Okay, for my opinion, I think identity is like an art because it's very localized for every country. If you have a solution for Thailand, I think I cannot use the same 100% same solution to adopt in South Korea because we have very different usage of using identity like government identity card. If you see in Thailand, we have chip, we have 13 digits already. South Korea doesn't have it. South Korea have your biometrics on the card. Biometrics, I mean printing your biometrics on the card, on the back of the card. From my experience, approach to South Korea entity to Singapore entity is very different use case. I have to design a lot of things for them for custom. But after I talk to more company, I can see what is the same culture, the same usage of the identity. I think this is the reason that you will not have a one-size-fits-all solution for identity. If you can see from Estonia, example for Estonia, Estonia solution implemented in Germany, the usage is only 6%. But in Estonia, everyone uses 98%. The same solution, same provider, same 100% the same. Like the French Connect in France. Somebody from France Connect implement something in Argentina and trying to use the biometric face recognition to doing something. And the implementation the usage is about 90%. Everyone except in Argentina, but they try to come back to France and implement the same solution about face recognition. Everyone not accepted. This face recognition cannot implement in France. Yeah, that's the reason for me.
Sorry, because I know could not. Oh, okay. Just. Well, maybe I have a question for you. I take the opportunity. I would like to know, as a bank VC, right? Sometimes we hear about decentralized finance. A lot of blockchain people say, "Oh, we are going to destroy the banks," and so on. When you see it as a corporate VC, do you wish to invest in a blockchain project as an overall ecosystem, or something really that can bridge the gap between traditional banks and blockchain?
Do I look, just to clarify the question, do I look for a project that bridge between startup and banks versus a
versus something pure
blockchain
blockchain and something? Yeah.
So I think right now, blockchain and real world are two separate worlds. And there hasn't been any linkage between them yet. Our role as a VC fund for the bank is to work with these startups to create sort of like a proof of concept where we can bridge their solution with real world application. And I think that's the sweet spot that we're looking for. But over the next few years, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, just because the technology is not yet mature enough and the use case is still very much limited to speculating and trading. Once I think once DeFi industry evolves over the next few years, we might see more resemblance of other types of financial products, like doing credit underwriting, using transaction data to actually provide loans versus doing collateralized loans. So things like that can be used by banks to work with the startup, but we're not at that point yet.
Thanks a lot for your reply. Any questions? Yeah.
So to also Tascha, I wonder if you have any. I saw that Andre moved funds from Keeper, and is that like an official collaboration, or is it on their accord without your doing? Or?
I guess you're gonna go and buy Alpha for this, right?
Well,
Because what I'm gonna tell you is gonna be pretty good news. So yeah, we work pretty closely with Andre. He reached out to us. He said, he likes Alpha Homora. He also shared a number of ideas that he wanted to, have added to Alpha Homora. So we're working with him on a number of those ideas and also our own ideas as well. So with that, we blockchain space is open, right? So we talk to everyone who are the builders and help each other. Even though our products are in a similar space, there's still going to be an angle where we can help each other. So in terms of Andre himself, when he put the proposal out to transfer the ETH and Keeper treasury to Alpha Homora, which happened on the 21st on Sunday, he did not, tell us. So he just did it because he read the code, he likes it, and he likes our team. He thinks there's a huge potential going forward. And then after that, on the 24th, so yesterday, he just decided to move himself. He didn't tell us either. I just woke up and saw the news and saw the transaction. But from all of this just means that he gives a lot more conviction in the project, and I think that also helps the project as well, as when people see that 9,000 plus ETH has been moved from Uniswap to Alpha Homora, then a lot of people who hold ETH are like, okay, then I guess that's where you put your ETH to earn high lending interest rate, right? And I think in terms of Andre's point of view himself, he was just thinking that, okay, how can he grow the most value out of his Keeper ETH treasury? Instead of just providing liquidity to Uniswap and bearing that in permanent loss, he's going to get some trading fees, or he can actually take the treasury out and then earn, let's say, 8% on ETH on Alpha Homora.
And you mentioned also looking forward to second layer solution. And if you're looking into that now, which are the alternatives are you interested in?
Yeah, so right now we're exploring quite a number of options, especially when there has been, no official mainnet of, a single L2 yet. So we're talking to Optimism, we're talking to Aztec as well. So these two are two of the L2. In terms of the other chains, though, we are also talking to Polkadot and Cosmos. So we're actually pretty open. So we just talk to a number of projects and see when they're ready, then we're going to deploy something on there.
All right. Anybody? Paula, yeah. Thank you.
Just want to see a lot. Yeah. So we've been talking a lot about why Thailand is not a fit or the best condition for startups to grow, right? Because of the government. I think it's that. Yeah. So we've been talking about the lack of funding, the lack of government support, right? So what are some of the good things about starting a startup in Thailand? And as we hope that people listening to this will be more encouraged to starting their own startup here, because in my opinion there are a bunch of things that's good about being in Thailand as well.
Great question. Thank you.
Okay, I can start. Number one, Alpha is here. Dan Protocol is here. So you can leverage us for sure. So we're gonna help grow the ecosystem, right? And that's why we're here in this space right now, giving this talk, so that we can hopefully share our knowledge more and more. So that's definitely number one. Number two is that the good sign, even though there's no governmental support, but the good sign of having banks doing their own VC arm, SCB 10X, Beacon Ventures, and even more coming out. I think that's also a good sign, signaling the corporates and the government that they have to also start doing something. And the third thing is also that even if the talent is hard to find in DeFi and blockchain in general, I actually think Thailand is really, really competent, especially when it comes to engineering and math. Yeah, so I think we're above average for sure on that. So I think if you're, hungry to learn, willing to learn fast, and can learn fast, then I'm sure it's a space for you.
Anybody else? Khun Pakron, you want to go?
Okay, same to Khun Pan. Finema is here. And Finema Group, we have a lot of company. We are all here, and this is the first reason. Second, I think we can see as a public that government not support, but this country is the strength is who you can connect to everyone you want to know. This is small. We have 60 million people. All the business guy and the government guy are in here in Bangkok. You can connect to everyone. I think this is very good strength to start something in enterprise or government. I see as a strength. Somebody sees as a weakness. But third, for me, this is the best place to live. Weather, food, you can eat a lot of food. The whole world. We have Lebanese, we have Indian, we have Chinese, we have Japanese, and you can go to the sea by just 1 hour from catch up the plane, or go to Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, a lot of place. I think it's the best place to live because a lot of blockchain guys, I think a lot of blockchain guys or tech geek guys are in by แม่ฮ่องสอนนะครับ a lot of blockchain like keychain, the self key now that ICO he live in Pai.
Yeah.
Hello. On top of that, I think I agree with both of them. But another thing that I would like to mention is about the sea, the sand, and the sun. It's about the environment, and I think if I have authorized, I think I will do like a Singapore that just allow the people that would like to stay here with this extra visa. That's a good strategy for the nation that they try to draw the tech talent by inspection visa. And I agree with you about the blockchain talent in north of Thailand. If they got special visa, we can get the know-how, the capital, and everything gonna flow. I imagine that a long time ago that European guy moved to America, and that's one is a key thing why America has a lot of innovation in there. The diversification of the idea that come from the many people to move to there, and this is a very interesting thing. It's different with Singapore. Thailand has a lot of place to go and good food, a lot of Thai beautiful people, that beautiful women. That's just I just think.
And one thing maybe you forgot in Thailand, as we see, we have very clear regulation for blockchain, which is something that other countries outside don't, even the biggest ones in Europe and North America. I think if you want to start a blockchain company in Thailand, it's a very good ground.
Hey, so I have a question for AJ. So I'm Nipun from Alpha Finance. It's a follow-up question. So you mentioned that like Thailand is small, like population is small, so like everyone is concentrated in Bangkok, like investors, VCs, whatever. So my question is for like newly grads or like someone with no connections, how would you approach like those VCs? Like you say they're small, but then maybe you need some like prior connections. Like you need to be built. You have to have like experience. You might have to be like some high level C level to be able to connect to other people. Like how would you like from like a newbie, right? How would you say that it's easy to get to know those VCs to make them fund you or like get interested in your project and then basically invest?
ภาษาไทยได้ไหมครับภาษาไทยใช่ไหมก็จริงๆจริงๆก็คงต้องเริ่มต้นหาพาร์ทเนอร์ที่เขาซีเนียร์กว่าเราครับหมายความว่าเราก็ต้องคอนเนคคนมากพอแล้วก็ไต่ไปจนเจอคนที่เขาเห็น value ในตัวเราแล้วเราก็ respect เขาแต่แน่นอนมันก็จะเจอของปลอมเยอะแยะไปหมดแต่คุณก็ต้องเจอคนมากพอจนแบบที่จะไต่ไปคุยกับใครก็ได้ครับก็เมื่อก่อนตอนนี้พี่แล้วกันนะพี่อายุ36ครับก็ทำธุรกิจมา15ปีก็ไต่มาเรื่อยๆสเต็ปมาเรื่อยๆแต่เพียงแต่ว่าถ้าเราเวลารู้จักคนมันไม่ได้รู้จักแบบค่อยๆรู้จักเป็นลิเนียร์มันก็เวลามันรู้จักเยอะๆมันก็พรวดเดียวเยอะๆเลยแล้วมันก็ใช้ connection keep connection จริงๆแล้วมันก็คือ soft skill ในการ communicate กับคนแต่ว่าเราก็ต้องหาคนที่จะพาเราไปเช่นสมมติเราอยากจะ approach government project คืออย่าง Finema ครับเราทำ PR โดยการถูก mention ถึงใน Gartner paper เวลาเราเข้าราชการเนี่ยครับเราก็ให้ดูว่านี่คือเราได้รับการ mention ถึงใน Gartner เรา prove มาแล้วเวลาเราไปครับสมมติว่าจะไปปัจจุบันไม่มีลูกค้าเป็นแบงค์เพราะว่าไม่ได้เป็นลูกค้านะครับลูกค้าเอาตรงๆเลยส่วนตัวภาษาไทยก็คือว่ารู้สึกว่าแบงค์เนี่ยในฐานะคนทำเทคโนโลยีเขาอีโก้เขาจะเยอะเขาก็จะ prove เขาก็จะเลือกแต่ product ที่ prove มาแล้วฉะนั้นเนี่ยทำไมเราถึงต้องเป็น partner กับ IBM and Oracle ก็เพราะว่าจะให้ IBM and Oracle refer เราให้ว่าเราเคยทำงานด้วยกันแล้วเราก็จะได้รับ respect เราก็จะได้รับ trust จากคนพวกนั้นครับอันนี้ก็เป็นวิธีที่ใช้อยู่ปัจจุบัน
I'm sure someone would like to ask you the price of Bitcoin next year. Maybe one more question before there is some nice pizzas and drinks, but let's anymore.
I'm Kim from Spartan Corporation. I'm asking from the point of view of digital asset, in a player from digital asset business, and the vision of Spartan from like earlier this year, we are looking to modernize our business and the exchange into more and more something like non-conventional exchange that only provide trading between crypto and fiat. I would like to ask you guys in which way that on the part of blockchain developers and also VC, how would you like to see like how can digital asset and blockchain collab more and more or integrate more together to create more value from instead of just only selling the name of the blockchain and the price of the cryptos?
I can start. So to rephrase your question, pretty much how can the token and the product itself work better so there's more value to the token instead of just having to sell and earn from that, right? So I think it depends on what the product is. So let's say if it's blockchain, then the utility of using that token on blockchain would be one, and then more from that. But if you think from the product or let's say like applications wise, and I think that's where DeFi came to play, right? Because people see that, okay, now you're holding all these tokens, you don't want to sell because you believe in these projects. How can you earn from these tokens? and that's where lending protocol come in. That's where more decentralized trading comes in, because people want to exchange the token, or even borrow some token to do more things while using their token that they don't want to sell as a collateral, and it brings out a whole portfolio of DeFi products. And as you grow in terms of the DeFi space in general, so let's say like Alpha, right? So right now there are a number of usages of Alpha token. You can lend it on Cream, or you can provide liquidity on Uniswap, and then you earn the trading fees. But also as the product grows and as the project grows, there are going to be more utilities for the token. And I think that's the interesting part, because typically with the traditional world, when you buy stocks, you cannot do anything with it, right? You just trade. So I think this is where it's really interesting how the tokens that you buy from in crypto, right? You can actually use it in blockchain world, even though it's not yet in the real world, but at least there's some usages where real stocks actually have no usages. One of the example is actually that once we grow, for instance, Alpha Homora, which is a leveraged yield farming and leveraged liquidity providing protocol, to a certain significant usages, what we can do is actually have Alpha token be a work token. What that means is that, let's say if you hold Alpha, you can actually use Alpha Homora and open a position at a higher leverage. So if you don't have Alpha, you can open maximum at 2.5x. If you have Alpha, perhaps you can open at 3.5. So these are some things that we always think of, but it's just a matter of when we implement those, because if you implement too early, then that also draws the value out of the product itself.
อันนี้พี่ตอบไทยดีกว่าไหมคืออย่างนี้พี่ในมุมของคนที่ลงทุนเนาะมองอย่างนี้แล้วกันว่าจริงๆแล้วเนี่ยถ้าเรามองสินทรัพย์นะเราแบ่งออกเป็น2ประเภทที่เป็นfinancial ไม่เกี่ยวกับคริปโตเลยนะแบ่งให้เห็นว่าเป็น financial sector กับเป็น real sector เราจะเคยได้ยินเทอมหนึ่งใช่ไหมว่า Wall Street เนี่ย price มันสูงมากเลยแต่ real estate จริงๆเนี่ย transaction ไม่มีเลยคือจริงๆเนี่ยกำลังจะบอกว่าบนที่เป็น financial sector เนี่ยมัน manipulate กันได้แต่ว่าที่เป็น real sector คือซื้อกันจริงๆเนี่ย transaction ที่มันเกิดจริงๆเนี่ยมันคือของจริงทีนี้ใน point พี่นะถ้ามันจะบูมที่มันจะบูมเลยจริงๆมันคือช่วงที่มันสามารถจะ bridge เอา financial sector มา bridge เข้ากับ real sector ได้ productivity ที่มันเกิดขึ้นเนี่ยมันจะ reflect อยู่บน value จริงๆที่มันจะเกิดขึ้นอยู่บน financial sector จริงๆแล้วบน DeFi เนี่ยในมุมที่มันไม่ต่างจาก financial sector ปกติอย่าง product ปกติที่มันเป็นproduct ที่จะเอามาทำ derivative หรืออะไรอันนั้นจริงๆมันไม่ได้มี productivity จริงๆเกิดขึ้นนะแต่มันเอามา leverage ตัวที่มันใส่มูลค่าจากสิ่งที่เราให้มันลงไปแต่ความต่างของอันนี้ต้องบอกว่าถ้าเรามองที่มูลค่าจริงๆเนี่ยสมมุติอย่างทองเนี่ยถ้าเรามองที่มูลค่าของทองเนี่ยเราจะรู้ว่าทองเนี่ยมันคือเมทัลโกลด์ใช่ไหมเราคือมันจะเป็นสินทรัพย์ที่มันถูกใช้ที่โมเดลต้องเรียกว่าโมเดลแล้วกันมันเขาเรียกว่าเขาเรียกอะไร to flow นะ stock to flow model ใช่ไหมมันจะบอกว่ามูลค่าของทองเนี่ยมันจะมีมากน้อยมันอยู่ที่ปริมาณที่มันคงเหลืออยู่แล้วปริมาณปีที่มันไหล flow ออกมาอันนี้คือสินทรัพย์ประเภทหนึ่งที่เขาเรียกเป็นทองใช่ไหมกับอีกประเภทหนึ่งที่เราคุยกันเนี่ยอย่าง stock market เนี่ยตัวเนี้ยมันมีมูลค่าที่แบกต่างจากทองเพราะไอ้พวกเนี้ยมันคือเอาธุรกิจจริงๆที่มารันมาเป็นตัวที่เหมือนกับหนุนว่าราคาของตัวแชร์ของสต็อกเนี่ยมันจะเท่าไหร่ใช่ไหมอันนี้มันคือ productivity เพราะฉะนั้นในตัว cryptocurrency เองหรือว่าตัว DeFi เนี่ยไทป์มันจะคล้ายๆกันนะ Bitcoin มันเลยเป็นเหมือนทองไงเพราะว่ามันใช้ stock to flow model เหมือนกัน scarcity model ของ Bitcoin มันจึง reflect ไปที่ราคาของไอ้ตัวนั้นแหละเพราะฉะนั้นตัว Bitcoin เองในมุมมองพี่เองตัวราคามันคือตัวมันเองมันยืนยันมูลค่าของมันอยู่แล้วไม่นับตัว speculation ที่ on top ไปบนนั้นนะคือที่มันขึ้นจาก speculation เราต้องตัดออกอันนี้ต้องแยกกันเพราะ pricing มันเป็นตัวที่ยืนยันจากตลาด แต่ DeFi ที่พี่กำลังมองเนี่ยคือว่าสุดท้ายแล้วเนี่ยถ้า DeFi เนี่ยไม่พยายามที่จะ bridge เอาตัวที่เป็น real sector เนี่ยเข้าไปเนี่ยมันจะไม่ได้เป็น long term มากนักถ้าจะให้ long term ต้องพยายาม bridge เอา real sector อันนี้ในมุมมองพี่เองนะ
Okay, I think we're gonna stop here, but I really would like to thank you, all of you. Thanks a lot for them, please. Very great conversation, and thanks a lot. Thanks for everybody to join tonight. We have some pizza, some drinks over there. Please stay around and have some chat. Thanks a lot again.